Hi everyone, this is Norman Kochnek yet again from the freezing shores of Sydney, Australia. And I've got another wonderful guest, a man that's been on the show many times already. But I thought it was about time we delve into his life a bit more. And he has had an amazing life, not just family life, but also career. His whole development into what he is now, the people he has met, the incredible people he has met. And I think in the actual name of this program, I put up, the fact that you're a famous fan. I call you a fan, but no, you're more than that. You're a famous journalist. You're very well renowned. You're a great photographer, videographer, filmographer. Everything is in your favor. The man is, by his name alone, well known in the marketplace. His connection with Xtratime and many other platforms is Debasis Sen. Welcome, Debasis.
Thank you, Norman. Thank you. I am touched by this incredible introduction. Means, what to say? I'm just overwhelmed because this is the first time I'm introduced in such a manner, and I'm grateful to you. We have been the best of friends, and I'm really touched. I mean, that the reason for coming to your platform today is that because we did discuss that I don't want to come and discuss on cricket because every time, day in and day out, we have been discussing cricket. So the moment you said that we want to discuss a little more about the life, about your personal life, so I thought, why not? It's so since it's a busy time with Olympics, but I still thought it's the right time to come and be at your show.
My pleasure, and I'm hoping all the guests that witness this, all the viewers, the fans, the followers, the subscribers, the members of my channel, many of you are a part of the Xtratime channel. Also, a very famous. It's on 761,000 subscribers at the moment. That means you have an audience, Debasis. Do you realise with 761,000 subscribers, you have the potential of a viewership in any one given time of around 7 to 10 million people?
No, I have not thought about that, Norman, because initially when we started this YouTube channel, because we were into television media, means when Extra Time, the early days, I'm talking about Extra Time, the early days, say 2000, we started the YouTube digital platform since 2017 in a more serious manner. I would say
2017.
2015 World Cup, Australian World, the ICC Cricket World Cup in Australia. That's the time when we seriously thought about having shifting to digital media. But we were previously into television media. We had a capsule program, Sports Bulletin, which used to be aired on ABP Anando. You had a show with Kuntal because Kuntal was with ABP Anando during that time. It was him and Anil Aboda, my sports editor, who got together and we decided to have a sports bulletin on his channel. So it used to come every night at 11, and people used to glue to their TV sets to watch the bulletin because it was a 15 minutes bulletin where you get all the news from across the globe, be it football, be it cricket, be it hockey, be it Olympic sports. Everything comes in a nutshell in those 15 minutes. It's not that like a regular show that people keep talking and keep talking, but we used to give the snippets of news in a highlight package. So in 15 minutes we used to get, and it was a very popular show. Then we thought that why not do it on a digital platform, because as you know, Norman, because this is the need of the hour, because people don't watch the news or TV sets anymore. They are more inclined to watching it on their palm top, on their mobile, on their lap, on their tab. So that's the reason. That's when we seriously decided of doing it, shifting to a digital platform. That is how we started.
So, ABP, what's it? It's ABP Live, is that in the news? Then there's a
No,
raft of
it,
different ABPs
it
relating
was
to
it was
languages.
it was a the channel's name was ABP Anando. It was a regional channel here
How do you
in
spell
Calcutta.
that? A-N?
ABP, it's the same thing.
Yep, yep,
ABP,
yep.
instead of news, it was Anando. ABP Anando.
How do you spell that? The last bit. ABP Anundo.
ANDA Anando. ABP Anando.
Okay. Because does it still exist now, that particular platform?
Absolutely, absolutely. That's done. I think that's the number one channel in Kolkata, in Bengal. That's the number one regional news channel. And Kuntal, as you know, is associated with ABP News, the
Yeah,
national channel.
right.
So it's the regional channel. ABP News is the national channel. ABP Anando is the regional Bengali channel. So our sports bulletin extra time used to be run on ABP Anando every night at 11.
So, but at the time, Grey Mind Communications, you were working for them as well, correct?
Absolutely.
Of course. So that was in conjunction with the ABP platform.
Yeah, it was a commissioned program because ABP on Anando didn't have any news bulletin, a sports news bulletin. So they took the sports. They want us to produce the sports bulletin for them. So you used to produce the sports bulletin for them. So
Right.
the extra time, that was the only sports bulletin on their channel during that time.
So go back to when you first started, though. We've jumped ahead a little bit. Go back to when you very, very first started. You were at school watching, probably, I'm guessing, maybe Kapil Dev, was it, or was it before that? Who was the first Indian cricketer that you watched or saw that you can remember from your youth?
I would vividly remember the 2003 World Cup when India lost that final against Australia. That was the first time when I, obviously, going back, I did watch the 1980. I won't say 1983 World Cup. I was too young then, but my first viewing of a cricket match was during the 1987 Reliance World Cup when India hosted the World Cup along with Pakistan and Sri Lanka. So that was the first time I actually started watching cricket, following cricket rather. But on a serious note, when I joined journalism, just after the 2003 World Cup, started covering cricket, and ever since I joined Extra Time in 2006, I it was a professional thing because I was covering cricket in a professional manner. It was a career for me then.
So from 2006 predominantly onwards.
Yes, 2006 onwards, and I remember quite clearly because I was supposed to travel to Sri Lanka to cover the series between India and Sri Lanka. Then my family they were a bit circumspect. No, 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 don't go. You shouldn't go alone because I was told to go alone and cover the series. So actually, my first tour had to be cancelled because of my parents, my mother. So she didn't want me to go alone because we happens to be a Bengali, a very conservative family. So she didn't want me to go alone and to a new country and cover cricket. See, because I had to stay there for almost 1.5 months. So so my boss did got a little upset because he was assuming that I would go, but I told him that Anilavada, I cannot go because my mom doesn't want me to go to Sri Lanka. So that's how. But as I have been very, very grateful, Norman. I am thankful to God. He has been very kind enough, and I have been fortunate. The first tour for me was the tour to Pakistan.
Wow.
That was in 2007. And very few journalists, I'm not talking about the present generation, current generation, it's hardly any chance of visiting Pakistan with the political scenario. Because, as you know, that bilateral series with Pakistan no more happen these days. So the tour to Pakistan was my first tour. I was there in Pakistan for almost little more than 1.5 months. I have been to places like Islamabad, Karachi, Lahore, Rawalpindi, Peshawar, mm, mm, um, and I have and we were very adventurous during that time. I was the camera person of Anil Aboda, who was the reporter with me, my sports editor, and we were accompanied by Dinesh Chopra of Times Now. He was a very brilliant journalist. He was with Times of India, but later on he joined Times Now. So along with Dinesh, myself, and Anil Aboda, we got a bit adventurous, and we went to Khyber Pass. The
Wow.
Indian team visited Khyber Pass, and believe me, Norman, it was means I'm still getting goosebumps. It was so very scary experience. Means because
I'm not
I would
hearing.
say, yeah. So it's not that the Pakistan government has no control in that region. It's the rule of the region. So, and Indians, forget about the Indians. Even the Pakistanis also don't risk going to Khyber Pass. So
Wow.
since the Indian team went there, so we chased. But the good thing was that we were accompanied by two locals. One of the camera person we had was Jubaruddin, who was a local guy from Karachi, and the driver, he was a Pathan. You call the local people Pathan. So he was the our driver was a Pathan. So he drove us all the way to Khyber Pass. And as we went to the Khyber Pass, we used to see on the way there is a cricket match happening. Little kids, what would be their age? Average age would be 15, 16, and they had AK-47 and AK-56 by the side of their stumps.
Really?
Can you imagine? Yes, Norman. And it
Wow.
was so frightening. Means m- people playing cricket.
Have you got photos of that?
No, during that time, Norman, there was not we didn't have that option of taking pictures. Had it been 2019, we could have plenty of pictures. But 2006, I'm talking about, we didn't have many options of taking pictures. So during as we went past the Khyber Pass, we saw local people, children's young guys playing game of cricket, and they were AK-47 and AK-56. Anyway,
Amazing.
we passed that, and we entered a certain location where we had our lunch, and we had Dumbe ka ghost. You remember that's a small goat. They used to call that Dumbe. Uh, and we had that Dumbeka ghost. I didn't want to have lunch, to tell you frankly, because I was only concerned about coming back to the mainland. Instead of being there, risking ourselves, risking our lives, I was pushing continuously, chasing Anilavoda and Dinesh. Why aren't we going back? Why are you staying here? So they just were very relaxed. They said, come on, have your lunch. This is something that you won't be having quite often. This is perhaps the only time. So luckily we survived. We came back safe, came back, but that was a hell of an experience. Means visiting Khyber Pass during that tour to Pakistan. So it was
Amazing. What an amazing, what a place
that
to start touring.
that was the first tour of my career. And Norman, as you know that since then, till 2015, I was sent on tours by my office, that is Grey Mind Communication. But since 2015, I have been traveling all by myself. I've been organizing freelance work from various channels and various web portals. And also in recent times I have been associated with Star Sports as well, covering for them on, because as you know that for the several countries they where Star Sports don't have their telecast rights. Say countries like England, Australia, South Africa, where they don't have the telecast rights, the rights are with Sony Sports. So I used to cover those series as a freelancer for them. So that is how it started. Since 2015, I started traveling all alone. So, and that is when we became very close with each other. And I remember but then before that, I believe we were in New Zealand where we had a picture
Yeah,
of you, me, and Boriada. I think Boriada was with Times Now then.
that's right.
So yes, so and that is how I started my journey.
But I can remember the famous time for me is when I had Kuntal, yourself, and myself with Buria in the SCG uh, overflow area. That was one of my favourite moments too. It was very cramped. It was great. Now, just so viewers understand, because people expect me to answer questions like Munchie's saying hello to you, see us in the Champions League, go Chelsea. There's Naresh Manushkani. I'm going to have you on much later, Naresh, on another. I'll give you a link for that, so don't worry. And there's various other people who are here chatting away. We're not going to interact with you as much at this point about the fact that Sky Yadav and obviously Shaw are going from Sri Lanka to England. We're going to talk about that separately. But for the moment, those questions, I may not answer them immediately, but we'll talk about them very shortly. I'm talking about this man here, Debasis Sen. If you've just joined us, we're looking specifically at his career, which has been amazing. The people that he's met, that's what I want to find out more about. The experiences of going to the Khyber Pass there in Pakistan, which almost no one ever gets a chance to do, especially not an Indian, especially not an Indian journalist. So that's very much. So, okay, 07, you did that. Just quickly go through some of the countries you've been to since then.
Yes, instead, I have been to all the cricket playing nations more than once. Means I have been to Caribbean. My first trip was to Caribbean was in 2011, immediately after the World Cup when India won that World Cup. So I traveled to the Caribbean, and it was one of the most memorable tours in my life. Means interacting with the legends. Means from Desmond Haynes to Gordon Greenidge to I didn't get an opportunity to interview Sir Vivian Richards on that route, 2011, but I did get a hold of the big man on my later tours when I interacted with him for a long 15 minutes. But I met Joel Garner, and I was in the diamond box of Bridgetown, Barbados, where very few of the gentlemen can get an opportunity to be there. But I don't know, somehow or other, I managed to mix with people very well. They love me. So maybe due to my height, they come, oh, come on. So this guy must be very interesting and charming. So maybe that is one thing that I somehow or other means I have been to the Diamond Box with Joel Garner, and
Well, I
he was.
mean, have you got a? Have you? I didn't see a photo of. I
I
saw
have a
photos
Joel-
of everyone.
I have a photo. I have quite a few photographs of Joel Garner. In fact, the one in the Diamond Box, I have the photo of him with me at the Diamond Box
Can
of
you
the
send me that?
Bridgetown Pub.
Can you send me
I,
that?
I, I will now.
Because I couldn't find that on. I couldn't
You
that
can
on.
find it. You can find it on Facebook on my
I couldn't find it.
Facebook.
You send it to
Okay,
me. Or tag me.
I will definitely. I
Okay.
will immediately after the broadcast. I will send you.
I mean,
So
for you and your height, with the likes of Usain
and
Bolt.
I'm going to share a very funny story here with Joel Garner. So that I met Joel Garner. So I was at come on. To approach him for an interview. So I was just out of curiosity. I just asked him, "Can we take a picture?" So he said, "Yes, young man, come on." So he stood up, and someone clicked the picture. I had a small camera then. So he took the picture. It was very odd looking because I was at the waist of Joel Garner. So I thought, no, I shouldn't be taking this because if I share it, means I would be trolled. So I requested once again Joel Garner, sir, would you mind being seated on the sofa, and I will be standing. so, so so that is how I have that picture, Norman. I'm going to send you. So and also similarly, when I met Courtney Walsh, also these people are huge. Means Usain Bolt. I think
Curly
I
Ambrose as well. Yeah.
Cartley Ambrose. Means Cartley, if you can, just a recent tour during the 2020 tour when been to the Caribbean. I interviewed him. I asked. Cartley wasn't willing to sit down and give the interview. It was at the that new ground at the not the Antigua recreation ground, but next to the airport. What I'm just forgetting.
That's the sticky wicket. The sticky wicket
Yeah,
you're
sticky
talking.
wicket, sticky wicket. Yeah. So they were playing match between the veterans, West Indian stars, legends. It was a legends match. So, but before that, I met Cartley. I interviewed him and his steel band. There was Richie Richardson playing the guitar, the bass guitar, and Cartley also was on the guitar. So it's a lovely. Means West Indies to me is the best part to travel. Norman, you have been to Caribbean a lot of times, so I think
And I've had similar experience to what you're describing. It's just beyond belief. That group, that's Richie Richardson's there, as well as Curtly Ambrose. The name of the group is, oh my God, what's the name of the group?
what is the name of the group?
I can remember. It'll come to me. It'll come to me. It's a certain name.
Yeah,
The name of the group will come to me. I have that evidence somewhere. Yeah, it's
yeah.
it's. I have it. You keep talking. I'll find it while
Yeah,
we're talking.
yeah, okay. And so on that tour to the West Indies, as I mentioned, that I met Joel Garner, and in fact, all most of the players that were part of that 2000 that invincible West Indies team that won the World Cup in 75, 79, and also lost that final against India. So. And then I also been to that museum in Barbados, where it was a fantastic museum with all the memorabilia. But I found Antigua a lot more interesting. It's a small island with very few people, and people out there in Antigua are very charming and they get along very well. Means they are so friendly. They
Oh,
have laid back
they're
life.
genuine. They're genuine. They're
Yeah,
genuine.
yeah, absolutely. And they are so laid back, and they sort of embrace everyone. So that's the good thing about Antigua. And on my later trip to the West Indies, where I met Sir Richards, I went to Richard's family and met his brothers, Marvin and I don't remember the elder brother's name
The two
right
older
now.
brothers. Yeah.
Yeah. So I met both the brother because the elder brother, I think he was visiting Antigua from he is right now stays in the United States, but I think on that occasion he was in Antigua. So luckily I managed to meet both these brothers together. They shared their experience, their stories, the growing days with Sir Weeb and the early days. I also met Grethel Richards, Vivian Richards' mother, and that was a really interesting story. So, and initially I was not allowed to go, but then somehow they allowed me, and I interviewed her. That you can find that video on Extra Time, Norman, if you can.
I've
So
seen that. Well, I'll definitely
yeah,
I'll send that link again around everybody. That was magnificent.
absolutely. So, in fact, I met Sir Vivian Richards' mother. I met both his brothers. I've been to his house. I've been to the place where he used to practice during his early days. So it was a experience of a lifetime. Means Vivian Richards for me is the greatest batsman after Sachin Tendulkar, Sir Don Bradman. Obviously, I never met Sir Don Bradman because I was not born then. So for me, growing up watching Sir Vivian Richards, it's kind of a awe. Come on, I am in Antigua. You are in Antigua and you have to visit Sir Vivian Richards' place. So there's a street being named after Sir Vivian Richards. So, so it was I mean, I cannot describe you in words the experience of meeting Sir Viv, his family, his mother, and then you have that new stadium, Sir Vivian Richards Stadium, where all the current matches are being played, and it's a wonderful stadium in Antigua. So, as you know, that Antigua Recreation Cricket Ground, they don't host any more matches these days.
No.
So I think it's a state of the art stadium at the Antigua Recreation Ground. But so and then on that trip also I did. visit Usain Bolt's um, um, uh, the the university he been to, University of Mona Oval. They used to say University of Jamaica. But for me, I think Jamaica is a bit more congested
Yeah.
because it is a bit it's a country where a bit more crime, little more crime compared to other places like Antigua or a Port of Spain or Dominica or Saint Lucia. Saint Lucia is a very interesting place. So where I met Darren Sammy, that was during the 2018 tour. So, and that was the tour 2018 where I actually interviewed Sir Viv. He was kind enough, means I was been chasing, right ever since I
2018.
2018. I remember, and I might get the year wrong, but on my second trip to the Caribbean, 2018, if I'm not wrong, 2017, 18. So that's when I interviewed Sir Viv. And the last tour to 2020, Sir Viv, I did request it, but Sir, I was not lucky enough to get an interview of Sir Viv on the last tour. But 2018 was a memorable trip for me where I interviewed Usain Bolt as well. That was the tour.
Where was that?
That was the National Stadium in Jamaica, Norman. So ever since I landed in Jamaica, I was always on the lookout of meeting the legend, Usain Bolt. So previously I managed to get hold of his personal assistant's number, and I managed to get a few numbers from others as well, the local journalists. But somehow or other, I was not getting an opportunity, or I was not lucky enough to meet Usain Bolt. But I think the tour was about the trip to Jamaica was about to end with the test match, to a couple of days remaining for the test match to get over. That's when I get to know that Usain Bolt was coming for the national athletics meet. It was a big occasion, Norman. In Jamaica, athletics is even more bigger than cricket. Athletics is like just the top sport. It's like number one sport in Jamaica. So Usain Bolt was supposed to come to Jamaica, the national stadium, and I got this information a little bit too late. So I just took a cab and rushed, and I saw that Usain Bolt was leaving. The event finished. It was almost nearing the end, and he was just leaving to go head back home. So that's when I just chased him. So he thought, come on, who's this gentleman? So he stopped. Then that's when initially I don't want to let go the opportunity that I was holding the camera. I had a PD 150 camera. That was a big camera. So I had a camera in my hand. So I requested Ms. Usain, can we have a picture? So he said, yeah, sure. So that's when I even you can look at the picture. I was at no, but because my mouth was wide open, means I couldn't believe that I am just standing next to Shane Bolt and he was clicking a picture. And I also made him to do that famous signal, that is winning celebration. Then as he went to the parking to get on to the car, that's where I requested him, can we just spare a few minutes? I would love to talk to you because I have come all the way from Calcutta, and for you it's a dream come true. Means it will be a memorable experience. You can, sir, please bear 5 minutes. I was covering that West Indies tour for Times Now, so that was not that I was covering for Extra Time. Extra Time did send me, but I was doing the freelancing for Times Now. So Usain Bolt somehow he thought, let's give this young man some time. So I asked him about Manchester United, about athletics, about him being the champion athlete, about coming to India if he ever wishes to come to India. And as you know, he was a huge Manchester United fan. So and that's the time I think very few times Usain Bolt might be staring, looking down and giving an interview. That's the I, very few occasions, because I was actually looking at him like this while asking the questions. I was took late, keeping my camera, and he was holding the boom. I am, because he was kind enough to hold the microphone. So I was placing my camera and asking him the questions one after other, and he was just continuing answering me. So that was an experience, and I still remember I gave a call to Boriada. Boriada, I at last mm, got to meet Usain, and I interviewed him. Boriada said, "Come on, that's a great job. Send the stuff fast." So they played it in a very big way, exclusive throughout the day on Times Now. So these are the experience, Norman, means that I still cherish, and I will be cherishing it throughout my life, because see, I don't know what I have done, or if I am ever that successful enough. But then the sheer thing that you people like you are love me, and I have come across so many journalists. I've been friends. I have so many senior journalists. I respect them. Even I'm talking about the journalists from other countries as well. So this is something to cherish. Means this is, I think, the biggest gain for me is to get to know about the people across the world, make friends like you, and being whatever little I have been known. That is what I have achieved so far in my life.
Well, that's it's a sense of community. It's a sense of belonging. A sense of camaraderie. We're all in it not to compete, but to enjoy the experiences together. Because ultimately, we put together videos, replays, whatever we do. But ultimately, it's the experience of getting that. The bars or the restaurants or the cafes or the buildings we see, the stadiums we visit. I mean, that we help each other out. You helped me greatly. I remember when I came to Kolkata, you picked me up with Kuntal. You took me straight to Eden Gardens. Within 2 minutes, we met Sourav Ganguly there in the foyer. We went to Salt Lake City Stadium.
Yes, yes, yes.
Lava, we went along with it. I was just blessed. I wouldn't get that access for anyone. And you and I had the same experience in the West Indies. So let's just go through that.
Similarly, I would also like to tell gentlemen, because 2015 was our first meeting, but 2018, was it, Norman, the series
Well, no,
when
we
India
met back
won?
in 2010.
No, I'm talking about the 2018
Yeah,
tour when
yeah,
India won that series.
yeah.
That was the tour when me and Norman became very close to each other. Means literally we were so close. We used to dine together every day. He used to take me across Sydney every day. Means he was my local guardian. So I mean, he used to pick me from my accommodation, drive me to the Sydney cricket ground, took me across Sydney. I still remember he took me on the 31st night. I witnessed that the 31st night celebrations, Sydney Harbour. These are the things that will stay with me. I mean,
Absolutely.
this, I mean, obviously, this we on a professional front, we have to discuss cricket. We have to do shows. We have to cover. But then this is the thing. This relationship, the friendship that you make across the world, this stays with us for a long time, and that is something that has been the happiest part for me. Means to make friends like you.
Well, it's lifelong friendships. It's beyond. It's like being at school with each other. It's almost the same. Like that, you can't forget those days. Your school friends, your neighbourhood friends on the street playing cricket. What we've experienced is not any different to that. Maybe we're a little bit older, but it's not different at all. Now, look, okay, let's go. Let's go through the list of people. I remember one day at the MCG, we were in the main members' stand. It was a very dignified day. I think that may have been the 15 World Cup, and
Yes,
I
2000,
was in.
India
I
and South
was
Africa.
correct,
India and South Africa. It was a full house. It was a
correct.
packed stadium, jam packed. What an occasion it was. And myself and Norman, no, it was Norman who was seated in a box where legendary Sachin Tendulkar was seated. He was with
And I could see it through the glass.
Sachin, and we were at the press box. which was just parallel, which was just adjacent to the box where Sachin was seated. And Norman was constantly signaling, come on, join us. Means I do remember Boriada, I
We
think
lost you.
Boriada was the first one to visit, and he said, "Come on, join." Then I, along with Sabyasachi, you remember there was another gentleman from
Galton was there, and Galton as
Gautamda
well.
was there, but then Gautamda did not turn up at that box. But I myself, Sabyasachi and Buriada, we
Yeah,
all had a picture, and that was a what a moment, Norman. Means Sachin Tendulkar having his arms on the shoulder, and it was a
he was very relaxed. He was enjoying himself big
yes,
time.
he was enjoying himself. Right, exactly.
But see that experience. But there was one moment. I'm trying to remember it now. There was some dignitaries and some former players were seated, and you went 2 or 3 rows in front of them, right in front of them with your camera, and you took your time. Who did you photo? I was shocked. Who did you photograph that day? Can you remember who it was?
I really don't.
Whoever it was someone uber significance, and you were standing there right in front of that person's vision. You took your time and you've gone bang. And I couldn't believe what I was seeing. It was hilarious. It may have been Garfield Sobers. I might have been. I think it might have been. I'm not
No,
sure.
I don't think. And talking about Sir Garfield Sobers, uh, I can share a lovely experience with you, Norman.
Please do.
It was Queen's Park Cricket Club, Queen's Park Oval rather. It was the 125 years anniversary of Queen's Park Cricket Club, and Sir Gary, as you know, flew all the way from Barbados to be at on that occasion, and he was joined by Sir Everton Wicks. So it was Sir Gary Sovers, Sir Everton Wicks, Brian Lara, and the entire West Indies team. Uh, then they had a 125 year celebration, and if you can, and
So
for the
Queen's
first
Park is in where? Explain to the viewers where Queen's Park.
It's in Trinidad and Tobago. It's in Trinidad, Port of Spain, Port of Spain in Trinidad. It's a Queens Park Oval, the famous cricket ground where Sunil Gavaskar had that memorable record in 1971 series against West Indies. So, Sir Gary Sovers, that was the first time that I met Sir Gary. I 2011 when I've been to Barbados, I was not lucky enough to meet Sir Gary. So, but then 2020, the last tour, when I visited, it was the 125 years celebration of the Queen's Park Cricket Club. So, on that occasion, Sir Gary was there along with Sir Everton Wicks. So, uh, actually, the real moment came towards the end when DJ Bravo went on the stage.
Debasis is just frozen.
In fact, all the dignitaries and the guests in the room were just checking their legs, and Sir Gary Sowers, along with Sir Brian Lara, they were both checking their legs like a little young guy. And I captured that moment I recorded that moment, and we had that video on the extra time. So that was a wonderful moment. Um, so
Amazing.
that was few things. Can you ever imagine Sir Gary Sowers dancing with Sir Brian Lara? I think that's the rarest of rarest footage, Norman. Rarest of rarest footage means Sir Gary standing shaking his legs with Brian Lara. Means
Unbelievable.
unfortunately, the views may not reflect, but then had it been any other popular channels, means I think it would have been millions of views. Means who would like to waste that video? Means so Gary Sovers with two of the legendary West Indian cricketers together. Means that is a $1 million frame for me. Means both of
Absolutely.
them. So
Absolutely.
these are small pictures, Norman. There's some small moments. Means I have interacted with. I mean, talking about 2006 tour to Pakistan. ma- Anilabada has been to Pakistan before that. The first tour when India went there, it was such a memorable tour for the journalists, the Indian journalists. That was the first time after the tensions. Then India visited again, where that um, conflict took place between Greg Chappell and Saurav. You remember that
Yeah.
Karachi Test match. After the Karachi Test match, he got dropped from the. But then we that Imran Khan's house, Imran Khan's residence. It's on the top of the hill, Islamabad, the capital of Pakistan. On top of the hill, he had a swimming pool on top of the hill. And Imran Khan had a guest. You know who was the guest? Greg Chappell was the guest. So he hosted. So we've been to Imran Khan's house, and also we've been to Imran Khan's political office. That's Tehrik-e-Insaf, his office. So means these are the means, and also on that tour we've been to Said Afridi's house when we were in Rawalpindi. We went to when we were in Peshawar. We went to Shahid Afridi's house. Actually, and what they do, the local people, they sit down all together and they have their lunch together. So we were also sitting on the floor, on the carpet rather, and having our lunch. So that was also a brilliant experience. And then there are a lot of memories. Means obviously we then if I'm not wrong, we've also visited Danish Kanaria's house in Karachi. He's the only Hindu cricketer to play for Pakistan. So we went to his and we saw the Hindu gods, Hindu goddess and goddesses in his room, where he showed us everything. We and during that trip also we went to the Gans market, Norman. It's called Dara Adam Khol. So it's a market where they sell arms openly.
Wow.
That was another experience. It's an open market of selling arms. It's called Dara Adam Khol. You can actually Google it and find it. So means you can just pick a AK-47 or AK-56 like anything, and you can buy it. So it's an open arms market. So that is something. It's a heck of an experience. So I
That
think
was in Karachi.
what
That was in Karachi.
no, that was in I think that was in Peshawar. Peshawar, I think Peshawar. There's a if you can Google it. There's a market called Dara Adam Khor. That's an open arms market where they sell this AK-47 and AK-56. I think it still exists, if I'm not wrong. So for me, 2007, my first trip to Pakistan, that stands out, and it will forever stand with me because that that was my first tour. Since then, I have been to all the cricket playing nations more than once. I have been to England at least 7 times now. I have covered 3 Test series in England. I've covered 2 Test series in Australia. The one which we lost 4-1, we were bashed all the way.
But you've been to Australia more than twice, though.
Yeah, absolutely. I have covered the World Cup in
But the first time
2001.
I met you, to
I think
Debasis was 2010.
2010. Yeah, that was, I think that was the series when we lost. No, not 2010.
Yeah.
Was it 2010 when we
I
lost
pretty. It was because
was we
the photo of us in the
I'm
overflow
not
box.
getting the year right, but I think the tour that we lost 4-1, we were bashed completely by the
Yeah.
Aussies. I think I was on that tour, and also the series win 2018, where I was the lucky guy to get a autographed jersey, team jersey signed by the Indian captain Virat Kohli. That was a moment for me. Means India winning a series in 2018, and I have been presented with a jersey of the Indian captain Virat Kohli, signed by himself. I still cherish it. It's a prized possession for me. Obviously, the 2020 I was not part of because with this COVID time, none of the Indian journalists could travel down under.
I
But
was there for you.
absolute Norman Kochenek was there for us covering the series, and And another country where I enjoyed cricket, watching cricket most. If you tell me Test cricket, I would say England for me, and also MCG, the Boxing Day Test, and the Sydney New Year's Test match. These are the two Test match I think. Just experience that moment to be at the ground on day one. The means massive crowd, and that was the, if I remember, if I'm not wrong, the series that we lost 4-1. I think Michael Clark scored that brilliant double hundred at the
That's
Sydney
that.
Cricket
I'm
Ground.
pretty sure
Yes,
that was.
I
I'm
think
going
that.
to check that.
No, 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 no.
That was it.
I'm
Was it a
pretty sure. I'm pretty
triple hundred? Triple hundred.
right. So that was the. I think that was the tour, and Michael Clark played that brilliant innings. And
That was
talking
a
about
triple. That was a triple hundred.
triple hundred. And obviously, Norman, talking about Australia, you have been. I have been to Bowral, and last time I have been with you, and on previous occasion I visited myself. So that was also an experience of a lifetime, visiting Sir Don's birthplace. Obviously, I haven't been to Kota Mundra, but I have been to Bowral. I've
Well,
watched the
next
making
time
of.
we're going to do a lot more when you come next time. I'd say now.
So
Something.
yeah, so and also the Norman, another country that I watched, that I enjoyed visiting, is New Zealand. It's a small country. People are very loving.
That was
That
actually 2011, 2012.
that was, I think,
So the 329 was on the 3rd of January 2012.
absolutely.
So
I
it was
was there,
11, 12. It was
and
11, 12.
also 2011 12. So that was just after the World Cup. So there is also a very interesting story that goes with me. I was in West Indies. So I was told my sports editor that Debashish, can you travel to England? I said, come on, I am in West Indies right now, and you want me to go and cover the series in England? Yes. Are you willing to? And I said, why not? So it was so hectic, Norman. I came back. I had a 6 months UK visa. Means normally for Indians they don't generally give 6 months UK visa. So I came back from West Indies, and in 3 days' time, I again packed my bags and traveled to UK to cover that series against England. And that tour also, it was such it was a tour to forget, because India were totally bashed by the England team. That series also, we were whitewashed 4-0. So these are the two series that I have been part of where India was totally bashed. Two whitewashed, one against England and the other one against Australia. But then we all know the 2011 Mahendra Singh Dhoni. I covered that World Cup right from the beginning, the camp in Bangalore till the end at Wankhede Stadium. All the matches I covered, all the matches that India played in that World Cup. Norman,
So there was a time I went to Chinnaswamy Stadium in Bangalore when India played Pakistan.
Ireland.
No.
Okay,
India versus Pakistan.
all right.
That was when Shoaib Akhtar was playing. Do you remember when that was? Do you remember that match? Were you there? Because I was there.
No, no, I wasn't there. I remember vividly, because I was not covering then. I was as a fan when Shoaib Akhtar brushed his shoulder with Sachin Tendulkar, and Sachin Tendulkar was given out. You remember that
Yeah.
created
Yeah.
a hell. I think it was the Asian Test Championship where the Test match was played without a single crowd, without a single people at the stands, because all the crowd had to be evicted because of the crowd trouble. And also, I was lucky to be on that 1996 World Cup semi-final, where again the crowd trouble at Eden Gardens, where the match has to be called off. So Eden Gardens has been famous for all the wrong reasons. Obviously, it has witnessed some of the greatest matches. The 2001 that comes to mind instantly was that 2001 Test match, the VVS Lakshman 281 knock and the Rahul Dravid. That comes to mind immediately. And talking about Norman, talking about Sri Lanka also, Sri Lanka and also been, because you know very well, Sri Lanka also. I met all these legends, means Jal Surya, Kaluvitarana, Ranatunga. I've been to his house, Ranatunga, and I remember him, Arjuna Ranatunga. I don't know what they call in Sri Lanka. They call it a lungi. I don't know
Yeah.
that
Oh,
place.
it's kind of like it's almost like
I
a
kind kind of
performance.
kind of a lungi. I don't know what they exactly call in local language. So I have been to his residence in Colombo.
It's
So
Nugigoda and Nugigoda in Colombia.
Nogi Goda, right, exactly. So that was a very memorable moment. But
What
when
year was that?
come on, Sri Lanka, I have been more than once. I've been
No,
to
but
four
that
five
particular
times.
moment. Do you remember what year it
I
was?
I I don't remember, Norman. I think
Okay.
not the series that Sangakkara played his farewell test. Definitely not that series. I think the series prior to that, I visited Arjuna's place, because the series that Sangakkara played his farewell test, Gautamda was part of that tour. Also, Boriada was also part of that tour. So that was definitely not the tour. And the, after that series, also I have been to Sri Lanka and covered the series where India won after so many won a test series. So, and I met a very important person in Percy Abesekara, the Sri
Of
Lankan
course,
fan,
Percy. Yeah. Yeah.
Uncle Percy. He is famous with the name Uncle Percy, and he actually he took me, he invited me to his office. Very short. The the Sri Lankan flag was burned at Eden Gardens, so he still has that with him. He still possesses that. He showed me that Sri Lankan flag, which was burnt by some unruly crowds in Calcutta at the Eden Gardens. So Percy is someone, is, is a dedicated fan of the Sri Lankan team. And we still talk with each other over WhatsApp. And so that is also a very nice experience. And I've been so many people, Norman, means over the years, and so I might go on and go on and go on, means
But okay,
just
but
to.
South Africa, you've experienced South Africa, haven't you?
Yeah, obviously South Africa. I think, in fact, one of the tours I was with Kuntal. We both were staying together. I think I found the Durban very scary.
Durban.
Durban and Johannesburg a little bit more scary compared to other places like Cape Town, where it is very nice. Cape Town is a beautiful place. And in
Yeah.
fact, Table Mountain. If you go and visit Cape of Good Hope, Cape Point, there are so many places to visit in Cape Town, and it's a lovely, and it's not that it's a very friendly, lovely place to be. Not as much as I was a bit scared with places like Durban. And Johannesburg is another place where there is too much crime. So I think th- my experience with South Africa, I have been to. I met Hansi Cronier's brother, uh, and I went to Bloemfontein, so where actually Hansi Cronier comes from. There is where I met his brother, Franz Cronier. So and also, and on the previous to 2018 tour, or 2018-19 tour, the series that India lost 2-1, losing in Cape Town in the first test match. They lost in Centurion, and they eventually won a test match at Johannesburg. So I on that tour, and I have a very good experience. I'm just like to share with the viewers. That's
Sure.
where I got an autograph jersey of Mahendra Singh Dhoni. So you must have seen when Dhoni retired, I posted a picture of Dhoni's jersey signed by him. So during one of the practice sessions, I requested Dhoni. I used to call him my Bhai. So I used to call him my Bhai. Would you mind just um, giving me a jersey? I would like to cherish. So he he did not say yes. Okay. And I remember the last press conference that he presented the jersey. He was so he reminded, he kept in mind. He gave the jersey to the media manager of the Indian team. The media manager, after the press conference, he called me. He calls Mama. I think all your viewers by now knows me by my nickname. I'm famous in the cricket fraternity by the name Mama. So Indian team, everyone in the Indian cricket team also knows me by my nickname Mama. So the media manager calls me and said, "This is something that I have for you." It was in a packet. So I just had a look at a glimpse. I got the jersey. So when I came back to my room, I opened it up. I spread it open on my bed, and I took a photograph. And the first picture I sent it was to my office. Look what I got. I got a signed autograph, signed jersey from the man himself, Mahendra Singh Dhoni. And also, I have interviewed a lot of legends. I interviewed Graham Pollock, Mike Proctor, and also
So Mike Proctor and Graham Paul you interviewed in South Africa.
in South Africa. Yeah, and I interviewed Mike Proctor when he brought out his own book. He brought out his autobiography. I think it was he was releasing that book. It was a small get together, and and also I interviewed Alan Donald and players like Brian Macmillan. They used to call his um, fa- what do you call this palms bucket.
Um,
They used to call them bucket because it was so huge. He used to grab everything that came his way. He used to be one of the best slip fielders in world cricket. So I actually asked him, "How did you manage to grab all that was coming your way in the slips?" So he laughed. And it was he who gave Venkatpati Raju the name Muscles. Because Venkatpati Raju, the left arm Indian spinner, was so skinny, he used to call him by the nickname Muscles. So Brian Macmillan, and then later on, I went to AB de Villiers School. That was another experience. That was in Pretoria. We were covering a test match in Centurion. Then I thought of visiting Pretoria and going to AB de Villiers School. That is the name of his school was FA School. FS. That's where I think uh, another cricketer also comes from.
Faf to see.
Fab Duplessis. Yeah, you have seen that on Extra Time. So that was also a nice experience, um, but
So let
unfortunately,
me go through this. Obviously, Australia, New Zealand, South Africa, the Caribbean, England, also obviously in India, Bangladesh.
Bangladesh is lot many times.
Exactly. Pakistan, Sri Lanka. That's everything, isn't it? That's all of them.
Everything. What else do you want, Norman? Means you are as a cricket journalist or a cricket photographer or whatsoever. Means what else do you want? Means I've been and also one more thing is that if I would like to share with your viewers a memorable experience that I had in Perth. I remember that's the prior to the test match. There was some groundsmen. They were having a beer party, so that's when I was sending my feed in the press box. It was the Waka ground, not the Optus Stadium. It used to be the Waka ground at Perth. So then I was just everyone left the press box, so I was alone. It was really really dark. Then and I saw few people. They were going barefooted on the wicket, and they were having some party. Someone had the bottle of beer on the wicket, and they were having a ball. So I thought of, come, why not capture this? I captured it, and I called up Boriada. Boriada, I have something. Is it worth sending? I said, what do you mean? Tomorrow is the test match, and they are having a party on the wicket. It can't be. Send the stuff. As he gets what to say. He gets very hyper. You know him, Boriada. Means when he is after news, when he is chasing news, he is just in his own. Come on, send the stuff fast. So I sent him, and And I that time Kuntal also carried my news, so I shared the news with Kuntal also. I gave a phono on his channel and sharing the experience. And later on, the following day, I took the reaction from the CEO of Australian cricket. Mm. So that was also another experience. And also I met Greg Chappell. Greg Chappell, you remember?
Of
2000,
course.
when Saurav was out of the Indian team, he showed that middle finger, and it was our channel. It was viral all throughout India, and everywhere there were reports that Greg shows his middle finger to the crowds in Calcutta, and there was so much of. What do you know? The next moment, when after
So hang on, let
everything,
me get this clear. Greg Chappell put the finger up, not Ganguly.
yes,
Greg Chappell.
because they were Ganguly
Greg
was out.
Chappell. Greg
Yeah,
Chappell put the middle finger up to the
then
crowd.
Saurav was out of the Indian team. He was dropped from the Indian team, and India was playing a one-day match against South Africa at Eden Gardens, where there was booed. The Indian team was booed by the home crowd just because Saurav was not part of the Indian team. So Greg was very frustrated, and she showed his frustration while boarding the team bus on his way back to the hotel after the match. He pointed out his middle finger to the crowds. So we actually didn't notice it. But later on, when we were just editing on the table, we saw, "Arey, this is a moment. What is this?" He was pointing the middle finger. After the
Where was
before
he? Was he on the bus?
on the bus, as he was boarding the bus,
Yeah.
he took his finger out and showed a middle finger to the crowd. So after the next test match was in Wankhede Stadium in Mumbai. I think the next match, I think it was a one-day match. I don't remember exactly. So my boss, he tells me, "You have to get a reaction from Greg Chappell." What is this? Because by that time, Greg Chappell might be knowing that who was the media team that has covered this. So and luckily Greg Chappell's birthday was a couple of days later. So I thought of buying a big birthday card, big birthday card. And Greg was accompanied by his wife Jordan, uh, Indian hotel, team hotel, where Greg was at the poolside. So I said, "Greg, I have something for you." He said, "Yes, why not? Go ahead. This is for you, Greg, since it's your birthday." And there were some media guys who took the photograph, and also there was a report that the media who showed Greg Chappell's middle finger has now presented him with a birthday card. So I didn't knew about it. So and that was the first time when Greg obliged me with an interview. So this was also one of a memorable moment, interacting with Greg Chappell right after the incident where that controversy took place.
Amazing. So what I was in the Taj Palace around, I think it was 2012, I'm pretty sure, and I was with our General Tunga of all people. And who do we meet at the breakfast table? Greg Chappell. And my ex-wife and I, we met him. It was remarkable. And of course, at that time, the Sachin Tendulkar restaurant was still in existence in Mumbai. And
Yes, yes,
we also met Greg and his then wife, or now wife, there as well. So we met him twice in only a matter of a day or so. That restaurant didn't end up staying. That was quite amazing.
yeah.
All right. So South Africa, New Zealand, obviously Australia, the West Indies, some amazing experience. England, Pakistan, Sri Lanka, Bangladesh, India. What
New
about
Zealand,
UAE?
UAE, Dubai. You mean? Yeah, I've been to Dubai for the Asia Cup. Um, but then that's my only trip to Dubai. Means I haven't been to Dubai after that. Obviously, I'm hoping that ICC grants accreditation to the media personals. They have already, just a few days back, they have mailed that whoever wished to visit Dubai for the UAE for the World Cup, the T20 World Cup, needs to be vaccinated. They needs to have both the doses in order to travel to the UAE to cover the. I think ICC is definitely thinking of having the media accreditation. That's the reason they mailed informing the people to get themselves vaccinated if they are wishing to visit UAE to cover the T20 World Cup. So I don't have much of an experience in UAE. Obviously, the best part was that India winning that Asia Cup, defeating, um, eventually winning that Asia Cup,
I,
defeating
I went to
Pakistan.
I went to Australia versus Pakistan in ODI at the stadium in Dubai. That was amazing. There
Oh,
was
right,
sand
right.
everywhere around it, and
Yeah,
then
and
and the Emirati, the leader, he landed in a helicopter on the
ooh,
field
okay, okay.
before the match. Got out, walked on the pitch, went up to his royal box, and then
And another, while talking about, I remember one incident, a funny incident. Myself, we were in an apartment in Auckland. If not in Auckland, I think it was in Hamilton or somewhere. So, I don't exactly rightly remember which one. During one of my tours to New Zealand, we were all staying together in an apartment. And in New Zealand, you had this apartment where there's fire alarms in all the apartments. So one of my friend, my colleague Amit Shah, he was boiling the egg, okay, with his towel on. So he was about to shower, and he was boiling the egg, and he forgot to switch on the chimney, right? And suddenly there was smoke,
when
and immediately there was smoke in the kitchen, and suddenly the fire alarm started ringing. In no time, in 5 minutes, there were three fire brigades parked downstairs, and all the people who were in the apartments in the Bindat building had to vacate that building. We were just staring, the gone. We would be fined heavily. So we were just staring at Amit. What have you done? So he was in his towel. Come on, I have not done it seriously. So this is something somewhat of a what of a kind of a funny experience, and also and I also like to share that experience of meeting Sir Richard Hadley. Obviously, I did meet him in the 2020 tour, the last tour that India been to New Zealand. But on 2015, during 2015 World Cup, there was a media, the media entire media team was taken to the Hobbit. I don't exactly Hobbiton,
Hobbit Town,
Hobbit Town, right? Exactly, where Sir Richard played a game of cricket with the journalists. So Richard Hadley played a game of cricket with the journalists, and later on, we were all got to interact with Sir Richard Hadley. So that was also a memorable experience for me. So Stephen Fleming was also there with him on that occasion, and I remember during that 2015 World Cup final, Australia versus England. I took a picture of me with Martin Crowe, and sadly though we miss him a lot, but then we took a picture. Just outside the press box at MCG, I saw Martin Crowe, and I requested him, can we take a picture? So and so uh, when I look back at all those pictures and the tours, uh, sadly though, Norman, until 2016 17, I don't have any visuals. Since 2016-17 onwards, I have started capturing all the videos in a hard disk, and I have been preserving those. So now when I take the watch those visuals, I say, come on. So the one that I miss definitely is that 2007 took my first trip to Pakistan. I don't have those visuals. I have only a few pictures. So I definitely would have loved to have some visuals of my memorable trip to Pakistan, and also
so you've
my
got no photographs at all, or you have some.
I have I in fact I don't have I have hardly one or two. I don't have much more than that, because on that trip I was not carrying a still camera with me. Later on, I used to always carry a still camera. Means that, and nowadays you have a mobile, so you can easily take a mobile and you can actually save it.
I mean, Debasis, you have to do something more with what you have, because you have genuinely got some amazing um, coverage that I don't think you realise it yourself how significant it is. I mean, I went through and got a few for the thumbnail for this particular session. I mean, even the old meetings with Sachin, obviously the 15 World Cup we've talked about, but before that, you and Kuntal and Uttam were somewhere in a birthday celebration, wasn't it?
Yes, 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 Norman.
What? Where was that? Where was that?
It has to be Sydney. It
No,
has to be
was it with the cake?
yes.
Not
It
on
was
that
not
tour. It was
Sydney.
well before that. It was a. You know what I'm talking about. You're in a grey curtained room. It may have been a hotel room or a lobby or something, and you were with Uttam and some other people and Kuntal, and there was a birthday cake.
Whose
You
birthday
don't,
was it?
yeah, I have it. I think I just downloaded it before. Yeah, I have got it. I've put it on the. I'm pretty sure it's on the thumbnail of this particular this particular thing we're doing now. If I'm not mistaken, let me have a look. But no, but you don't. It was a few years before that. It wasn't. It wasn't when you're thinking. It was before then. He was very casually dressed. He was very anyway. I'll show it to you later. But that was another time it was his birthday. And he was celebrating, and there were even balloons there.
Okay.
Yeah. Anyway, so all right. Barnstead Boy's been on. Munchie's been on as well. But he wants to know. Barnstead Boy wants to know one thing. Who is Richard Vernon, Chris's dad? Your favourite cricket moment?
My favorite cricket moment, it has to be the 2011 World Cup win at Wankhede. Means after means I we when we came out of the ground, it was midnight. It was 12 a.m. and there were thousands and thousands of people on that Marine Drive. Means people were driving the car, blowing their horns, they were with their tricolors, they were celebrating, and that celebration went on throughout the night. And I was there on the Marine Drive throughout the night. Means just to experience that moment. For me, that was the moment, that was the biggest moment that I so far witnessed in my cricketing career. And another moment that I happened to that was I was part of was the 2018 series win in Australia.
Yeah, that
Means
was fantastic. That was.
that moment in at the SCG after that last ball was bowled means oh boy means what a moment was it, and also the test match that we won at MCG, the first test match that we won at Adelaide. Means Australia were so close to winning that first test match, but then eventually it was India who won, and later on we won the series. So for me, that was another moment. That was another memorable moment that I still cherish. To be in on the ground because I was a photographer then. So I was actually on the ground, witnessing the moment, capturing the moment, and sharing the pictures with BCCI because I was sending the pictures to BCCI for them to upload on their social media, Twitter and other social media platforms. So actually, I was on the ground witnessing the moment when Virat and his team won that series.
Amazing.
Yes,
Amazing. I mean, that's sort of, so that was in okay. The 18 was amazing. Obviously, you weren't here for the 2021. That was also amazing for me to be able to represent you and be there as well. That was magnificent. I mean, even 15 when we were together when the World Cup was brilliant. And I have the best memory for me in India was the 2007 match at India versus Pakistan at Chinnaswamy Stadium in Bangalore. I got to witness that. And it was Shahab Akhtar Bowl. It was the third. It was actually
and
the
I
eighth.
was also Norman. Also, I would like to mention Ben Banstead Boy is that another memorable moment for me has to be that Champions Trophy win in Birmingham. means beating England. What a moment was it? I mean, 2013, 2013 Champions Trophy win at Edgbaston. So there's a few moments that I will cherish throughout my life. Obviously, we were disappointed at in the 2017 final when we lost to Pakistan at the Oval, but then 2013 Champions Trophy win in Edgbaston against England, and remember England could have definitely won that match, but then they threw away the match at the last moment. So I think that was also another memorable experience.
The 2019 World Cup, admittedly, didn't involve India. It was between England and New Zealand. That was quite special for me. That was quite a dramatic, drama-charged moment when they had the Super over. That was quite phenomenal.
Yes,
There's been some
absolutely.
great moments.
I was also there at the Lords. I was at the photographers area.
Yeah.
So actually, I have quite a few photographs of the England team when they were making the victory run. Means I was towards the media center, the Investec Media Center, just below that, towards the nursery end. So that's where when the people that when Ben Stokes and Owen Morgan were taking the, which I took plenty of pictures of, and also I have the picture of that at that moment when Butler moment when um, and so these are also and also memorable incidents, Norman.
Oh, for sure. Excellent. Excellent. This has been fantastic, Debasis. I've really enjoyed this because to me, this is a lot of fun to talk about your best moments. And we'll do more. We'll get more specific later. But, I mean, my memories go back. I was in India my first time in 2002, my first time to India. And I went to various things. It was amazing. But I've been there probably 15 or 20 times over the years as well. But with you, obviously, that time in 2015, I think it was. It was 15, wasn't it?
World Cup moment? I think
No. When I
2016.
was in Kolkata with you, I think it
Was it
was April
2016?
2015.
2015?
Was it 16? What year was it when I? When,
I reckon it was 2016.
that's right, 16. Yeah, 16. Because I also went on a cricket tour as well. Remember, but I didn't go to Kolkata. I went to other parts, Mumbai, Delhi, and Amritsar and the like. I don't think we didn't meet that particular trip. I think I met Harini Rana and Syed Mopatra. That stage they were in Mumbai.
Yeah,
Yeah, two great people.
very very grateful, and they were brilliant journalists.
Oh,
And they were just especially talking about Sai Mahapatra. He was one of he was a outstanding journalist. When
but
he
he's
used
now
to,
gone off and done other things.
yeah, he's now I think he is settled in his hometown in Odisha. So uh, I think he was at his best when he was with the Star Sports. So that's the time he's also every time he used to get scoop news and he used to get breaking news. He have all the information what is going around with the Indian team.
He's amazing. Yeah, I mean, we've lost obviously. Well, Malcolm, Econ. I think he's gone to. He's working now for the. He's taken over the job from another great friend of ours. Now, I've had a memory lapse. Who was the fellow? Um, Chris Barrett. Chris
Chris
Barrett is now
Barrett.
working in Singapore.
Singapore, yeah.
He's got nothing to do with SMH that's anyone held. Malcolm Con's got his job. Jared, not Jared Kimbers. Who else is there? We've got someone that's taken on the role of the age actually too.
I think
Not Jared Kimber. What's it?
no. What's that lady who has her own
No.
YouTube
This is
channel?
someone.
I think she has joined the newspaper in Australia. I think what's the name of the lady?
You're talking about Melinda.
Melinda Farrell. Melinda
She's
Farrell, I think
joined Sporting News. She's joined Sporting News.
Sporting
She's
News.
joined
Yeah,
Sporting News. And the other
yeah.
fellow who was, I've had a memory lapse. The fellow who was with Quick Info, one of their best writers.
George Dobell.
No, from
He's still with
Australia.
George from Australia.
Yep.
From Australia.
Not
Who's
Jared
it?
Kemper, of course, but someone else.
No,
He's
no, no,
now
no, not
joined the
Jared
Age. I'm
Cooper.
just going to try and remember who that was. I've had a mental blank. For the mental blank.
Same to me. I don't remember his name.
You know, not Linda Farrell and not Jared Kemper. Who's the other person who
No,
was?
no, no, no. I I could remember. I could uh, remember his face, but I don't get his name.
I'll find out in 2 seconds. I'll go through a list of people that, not Alan Collins, of course. I've had a terrible mental blank here.
One
You and
minute.
I both know him. Sports journalist with quick info. Who's now
I know.
working? He's working for the Ages. It's not Jared Kimmer. It's not Melinda Farrell. It's not anyone else you can mention. Not Bharat, of course.
Bharat is with Trick Buzz.
No. Yeah, but there's another person I'm talking about. Oh my God, I've had an incredible mental blank. Think about it. Who else is? Oh my God, I've had a horrible mental blank here. Daniel Brettig.
Daniel
Daniel,
Brettig. Yeah,
he's now joined the Age.
yeah.
He's now joined. Did you know that? He has joined the. He's the chief cricket writer at the Age in Victoria.
Right.
He's not working for Crick Info in the way he used to. He might still do things for them, but he's moved on to that particular role. Yeah, so he's he wrote the book, of course, Brabham and Packer, the deal that changed cricket. Yeah, so that's it. There's a lot of people that we've
And
had.
also, let's and uh, I would also like to know about your experience, Norman, about West Indies, because I know you have been Sri Lanka has been your second
Home, yeah.
Indies. I would like to hear more about your experience with West Indies, because I think you would also agree with me, because I think we both are on the same page. I think we really, really enjoy our trip to the Caribbean.
I've been very lucky. I've been there a number of times. My first
Yes.
time, I went there several times earlier on, but one particular time in 2010 is when I met Shipwreck, and I had written to the West Indies Cricket Board at that stage to actually to run cricket tours with the West Indies, and my first contact was Shipwreck in Antigua, people in St Lucia as well as Barbados. A guy called Gregory Wallace, who was actually he played for Barbados. He was a bowler at the time of the likes of Wes Hall and the like. So I got in Antigua. My first person was Shipwreck. I arrived at VC Bird Airport, a little old shack as it was, and my first person I meet is in fact Shipwreck's wife, who works in customs, who knows I'm coming, walks me straight through customs unchecked, out the front in a little battle axe jeep with the guy Stanfield Joseph, which is in fact called Shipwreck. And he took me straight to the Minister of Sports office, and I went up these back stairs, very rickety back stairs. I'm wondering what the hell's going on. I couldn't understand what Shipwreck was saying. He had this way of speaking that was very hard to understand. So I don't know what I'm doing, where I'm going, who I'm meeting. I've only been in the country for half an hour. Straight through customs, straight to the place. On the back says there's a man sitting there, two West Indian men, and I get introduced to one, and his name is Merv Richards. Richards? Wow, that's a famous name. Yeah, I happen to be Viv Richards' brother. I said, oh my God. So I wanted to talk to Merv and get to know him and the other guy that was there. And Shipwreck had this old Nokia telephone, and he was on the phone all the time with somebody, right? And I'm sitting there just getting into talk. Oh, Merv, how great it must be to be the brother of Viv, etc. And Shipwreck hits me on the shoulder and goes, we're going. Come on. I go, I got a bit angry. I said, I don't know what are you doing. I've just got to talk. I can't leave this man. I'm annoyed, you know. No. He said, come with me now. So all right. So I said, oh, sorry, Merv. Maybe we'll see you later. I think it was like a really fairly short meeting. Took me down the back stairs, onto a vehicle, straight to a golf course, straight to the car park. There's a golf buggy there. Viv Richards is sitting in the golf buggy. I've been in the country for an hour.
And you meet Sir Viv Richards.
I met Merv Richards, then Viv Richards.
Oof.
And then he gave me more time. We spoke with Viv, got a great photos, we chatted. Wonderful experience. on his favourite golf course there in Antigua. I said goodbye to him. Shipwreck keeps telling us, we're going. And I'm not happy, but he gave me enough time, so I was happy. I'm thinking, this is ridiculous. They kept going. Then we went to a small little shopping centre, and there was a white Land Rover, and there was a man and a woman in the front of the car, elderly, I thought. Didn't know who they were. The windows wound down. It's Andy Roberts. I'm meeting Andy Roberts. So an hour and a half, I've met Merv Richards, Viv Richards, then Andy Roberts. Then while I'm talking to Andy Roberts, he hands me the mobile phone. He goes, talk to this man. So I grab the phone and I start talking. He goes, hi, Norman, this is Curtly Ambrose. Come to the casino there in Antigua tonight. I'm playing with my band Spirited. Come and watch.
Spirited
like,
Band. Spirited Band.
Spirited.
The name of Curtly Ambrose band is Spirited Band.
Spirited.
And talking about Andy Roberts, I also met him quite a few times. He has his own boat. He goes for fishing.
He loves fishing.
Andy Roberts loves his fishing like anything.
But can you imagine, Debasis, this is within an hour of being in the country. All this happened.
Absolutely. Yes, it's incredible.
And then I go to a hotel. I was booked into, I think, the Sandals Hotel. And
it's one of the best hotels, yeah.
Yeah. So Shipwreck said, no, you're not staying there. I'm saying, what? But I've paid for it. No, you're not staying there. I said, why not? You're staying at Jolly Beach. So he takes me to Jolly Beach. I haven't booked in there. I'm a bit annoyed. I'm in the queue to queue of one. There was one person in front of me. I'm queuing. Shipwreck's standing on the side. The man in front of me turns around and starts to talk to me and sees something about Brisbane on my shirt. You know who that was? Darren Sammy.
Oh.
And Darren Sammy was getting married the next day at the Jolly Beach Resort. He'd come over from St. Lucia. Can you believe this?
And talking about Darren Sammy, I know he drives an entire nation. Means India. So he has his own stadium named after him.
Exactly.
The entire island just embrace him like anything. Means he's popular like anything.
He's a great statesman.
Great statesman. Yeah, absolutely. And talking about Andy Roberts, I have a picture of Andy Roberts with Sunil Gavaskar. The first trip, 2011 to the Caribbean. Means what a battle it was. Means Sunil Gavaskar facing those pace quartet, Andy Roberts, Malcolm Marshall, and I've met Michael Hilding quite often. So the first time that I met Michael Holding was in front of the Lords, and that on that occasion also Sunil Gavaskar. I am flanked by, on one side there was Michael Holding, the other side Sunil Gavaskar. I am in the middle.
That photo was on the social media.
Yes.
Look, that's the thing. It's just endless amount of experiences we've had. We're going to have more. You're going to come to Australia. I'm going to go to India again. We're going to also experience other countries together again. There's plenty more to happen, Debash. This is only the start. I really do thank you for this time. It's been a wonderful time. I'll give you a copy of this as well, but there's so much more we can talk about. Talk about your channel briefly.
Yeah, extra time, as I've just mentioned at the start of this broadcast, is doing reasonably well, Norman. But then these are testing times when, actually, the USP of extra time is the practice sessions, which we dearly miss these days, because since I cannot travel, since I cannot cover the practice session myself, so we have to rely on what the BCCI sends or what the other cricket board sends, and we put it on our channel. But then the views have definitely alarmingly gone down, means as is the case with other channels as well. Because
there's no channel that's not done that though.
Yeah, so until and unless you travel yourself, you cover yourself, you put content which are unique, you cannot generate good views. Means that is what the case is, because for us, talking particularly about extra time, the views have really gone down. Means one thing is that we don't get to cover the cricket these days. We have to rely on the virtual press conferences, which everyone gets. Even someone from not from the media also. I don't know how they get those press conferences, and they upload it on their YouTube channels, and this is really alarming, because
Yeah.
someone who is not part of the media, he gets this content. I don't know how, but they upload it on their channel, and they get more views. But genuine, but someone who is a genuine media people, but then we have to, this is but we have to accept it. These are
But
the
I
new
was talking
challenges.
about your channel, your other cricket with.
Oh, my own channel, personal channel. Come on, I'm not that interested. I'm not that interested. I just out of sheer fun, I just put a channel. My channel's name, I would like to share with your viewers, is that my channel's name is Crazy with Cricket. Means nothing, nothing really crazy about it. But then I upload all the rare videos that I covered during my time in the media. But then
Well, you've
I
got
had,
8.9. There we are.
yeah, I know. I have got almost 8.9 thousand, almost 9,000 subscribers. But then I last video I have uploaded is about 4 months back. So I am not too serious about it. Just mm, during the lockdown, during the pandemic, I had nothing really to do. So that was the time I thought, come on, let's start a channel. Let's start my own channel. But then I don't have the time, Norman, because I am so busy with extra time and managing the stuff. So I hardly get time to concentrate on my own channel.
But your one video got a 1 million views.
In fact, two videos have got more than 1 million views.
That's amazing. So one was with, is it Vera Kohli or who's it with?
I think one is with Mahendra Singh Dhoni, and other one is with Rohit Sharma.
Right.
Rohit Sharma imitating Virat Kohli imitating a Rohit Sharma pool shot.
Those your graphics are very good too. Oh, just share that. That's great. All right, Debasis, I'm going to let you go now. It's midnight here in Australia. There's no games on today, are there?
No, tomorrow there's a game. Tomorrow.
So, but today, okay, we had obviously the Olympics is going on. Australia play the West Indies at 4:30 in the morning, my time.
Right.
That hasn't Australia played badly in that. Oh, they got beaten 4-1 in the T20, and now they've lost one. They've won one against the Western. Awful.
West Indies won.
Australia's in dire problems
Yeah, but
in
they
all
don't have
formats.
they don't have the big stars, no. They don't have the main
But
players.
there's something wrong with the team harmony. I don't know what's going on. There's a lot of mistakes being made with selections. Matthew Wade is playing badly, but he still gets given the job ahead of Carey and Philippe. I don't know why. I mean, he must be liked by Langer. I don't understand it, because it's very frustrating to watch the team being selected and players being like very poor selection is really annoying me. And something smells with the Australian lineup right through from Test team through to ODI and T20. They're not going to make the semi-finals in the World Cup. They're not. There's no hope.
I think four teams that will make the semi-finals of the T20 World Cup will be India, England, England and India, West Indies, and I would say the fourth team will be New Zealand and Australia, between New Zealand and Australia.
No. It can't be. It can't be Australia, because it'll be England and the West Indies in their group. So Australia can't make it.
All right, so England and Australia, and
No.
India and
England and West Indies are in that group. So they will be the top.
India and New Zealand from this group.
Yes, or possibly Pakistan. India and Pakistan could be.
I
Could
don't
be.
think so.
Well, it could
Maybe.
be. But I
Maybe.
mean, Australia have to go ahead of
and
England and West Indies. They
and
won't.
if India don't make it to the knockout stages of the T20 World Cup, I think you would see some big changes. Means, talking about the coaching staff or the captaincy, you can see changes of that stature. If India doesn't make it to the knockout stage, which India
Oh, they
should make
will.
it to the
They
knockout
will.
stages.
They
Yeah.
will. They will. But I England and West Indies definitely on one side. West Indies will smash Australia. So that means Australia's got little hope. Australia and South Africa are not going to make it through at all. And
Right.
New Zealand, even though they won the World Test Championship, they're probably not going to go. Okay, let me quickly show you. So I'm going to send you one of these hats. I haven't done it, but give me the. You're going to wear it for a while?
Pardon?
You're going to wear it?
How would I wear it?
Of course you'll wear it. And this one.
Oh, this is nice. This is nice. Oh, Black Caps. Oh, Indian team.
Look at the label.
Fantastic.
Heck, it came a month after the match. It was promised to arrive before the match on June 18th, but it came July 22nd. Oh.
Okay.
Yeah. So all right. Well, we're gonna. I really appreciate you being here.
Thank you, Norman. Thank you very much.
Fantastic. Hope you enjoyed
it. I thoroughly enjoyed it, and it's been a fantastic chatting with you. This is what I like the most. Every time you talk about cricket, something you need to share your own experiences, and we hardly get an opportunity to do it. So thank you for giving me this opportunity and also bring me on your platform.
No worries. And Crazy with Cricket. Go to Crazy with Cricket.
Anyway, thank you, Norman.
Thanks, Debasis. All the best.
Thanks very much. Thank you. Thank you.
Ciao. So that was very fortunate to have Debasis on there, and I've had a number of questions already asked. Dikshan Anand saying hello to me. Amal, and you forget it how to play ODI T20 killing beauty cricket. Yeah. Manchester boy made a few. Yeah, this was an important guest, and Andrew Angle. I had just Debasis on to talk about his experiences. As you saw, he's met everybody. He's very close to the Ganggulis and the Dravids and the Gavaskars and obviously Tendulkar and more recently even the Virat Kohlis. Like, he's very close to all of them. He has a great time in New Zealand. Obviously Australia is very welcomed. South Africa, UAE, which he's had a little experience there. Probably thinks a bit more experience there. England, of course, he's had huge experiences there. The Caribbean, we all have. It's been amazing. So I have a lot of time for him there. So we're going to change platforms now. Well, not platforms. We're going to change. This video is going to end. But I'm going to bring on. I might actually do that now. We'll just see what we can do. Let's just see if we get there. I might just get. You want some other people on? I'll get some other people on. Let me get some people on for us. So I'm going to invite a few other guests. Let's just pick who they are. I've been watched by someone, I think. Let's have a look. I'm just trying to find. I'll get a few people on. Come on. We're going to change tact a little bit now. See if I can grab a few people on. So yeah, there's a lot of reasons for doing what we're doing. Let's have a look here. Copy. When you copy and paste, sometimes you have to do. Banster boy and Munchie, do you want to get on? Yeah, there's no cricket really going on at the moment. Thanks, Lawrence. We've got, let me have a look at another person who's trying to get on. So I'm trying to get a few people on here, guys. Just give me a second. Naresh. All right, otherwise, if they don't come on, I'll cut the call. So let's have a look here. There's a hell of a lot going on, but not today. Obviously, with the Olympics, as I think I may have talked about a bit earlier, we have had a lot of movements. England have suddenly won a whole host of medals. Previously, they were not on that. Just trying to see what the story is there. Let's have a look here. Olympic medal tally. We have Australia at the moment, they're 7th. Well, in fact, first, Japan has gone to number 1. They've had, but we've got Japan at number 1 with 8 gold at the moment. USA on 7, People's Republic of China on 6. Then you got the Russian Olympic Committee, which is that unusual bunch. They've gone to 4th now with 4 golds. Britain's got come in now with 3. Then you've got Republic of Korea at 6, and then 7 is Australia with 2. So that's the way that it's progressing at this point. Kosovo's got, I don't know what's going on with Kosovo. They've got quite a few. Kosovo's got, no, that can't be right. They've got 2 gold medals. It's quite incredible. Let's look where India is at the moment. India, let me have a look. India has now got the 1 silver. They're ranked 33rd in the listing. Australia's still top 10. They're ranked currently 7th. Early days though, Australia won 2 golds, 1 bronze, 1 silver, and 3 bronze. It's pretty impressive. All right, so we are looking at a bit of a lull in terms of program. I don't know whether Alan's going to join me. So yeah, there's a fair bit of. I've sent you the link. Okay. So, in essence, the program that we just had is specifically with Debasis, and that's what the majority of them. We'll bring on other people. I think it's important for us to realise the significance of what someone like Debasis Sen does now. He works for Extra Time, which is part of the Grey Mind Communications Group. But he also does a lot of freelance work with Star Sports, Times Now, Times of India, a lot of work with Buri on his channels too. He's very well, but he's had some amazing experiences where he's been able to visit all parts of the world, which have been quite astounding. It's one of those situations that, you just don't know exactly what people's experiences are until you ask them. And that's probably been the key to Debasis in particular. He's been a wonderful person to have on the show over many years. He's allowed me to be a part of Extra Time. As you know, I've done a lot of work regarding the newspaper articles of On the Street, which was a Sri Harsha. I've also done a little work around stadiums for that Extra Time Sports Today, ABP News, quite a few platforms. But yeah, it's been great. So I'm very happy with that. We'll just see where other guests join. But ask me any questions if you want to, if you're there. I haven't got a lot of people there today. It's been very quiet today. I guess it's an off day. There's no crowds. People are not expecting to watch these platforms to see any, I certainly deal with a few more people watching the channel. It's not a lot these days. Comments are very thin. I put out a lot of platform work with about the Aussies, of course, and the 2032 Olympics. The 2032 Olympics, which will be held in Brisbane and Queensland, Australia. Still 11 years away. It's a long way away. It's not around the corner. Oh my God, I won't be a young man in those days. It's just what sports would we like to see there now. Kabaddi is one of the ones I mentioned, but obviously cricket. We've had, skateboarding and surfing join the Olympics here now in Tokyo, which is 2020, being in the year 2021, but it's called 2020. Yeah, it's true. Largely Polter. It's true that we had last ODI Australia were quite sick and sorry looking. You're right. They're in a bit of a mess. Is the end of such a dominant era of cricket? It certainly is. Australia are in a lot of trouble, and they've got nothing really coming through. There's only the likes of Jason Sanger that's coming through. They're quite weak. A couple of the Edwards brothers, but as far as people beyond that, there's going and this because we haven't got the role models we had to, because obviously the likes of Warner and the attitude with his sandpaper gate, the way his histrionics in the IPL, the following of Dave Warner's dropped. Not Indians still like him, but the Australians have gone off him. I think the Australians have gone off most players. Steve Smith, they're very sceptical of. The bowlers are there, but their careers are coming to a bit of an end. It's a very very sad state of affairs. In fact, Australian cricket is administratively, with Sutherland, was a mess for quite a while, and their media manager, that Tim Whitaker, that drongo Tim Whitaker. Oh my God, he got what he deserved when he was sacked when he went something. That's a pity. A team which has Steve Waugh, Ricky Ponting, or even Mark Clark is a real sorrow. It is, very much is. It is a real mess. That they can blame these media manager drop kicks like Tim Whitaker and his abysmal approach to it, and his arrogance, his hubris, and he was sacked from his position. Well, we won't go into why, but it should be well documented why he was sacked. It was not a very good way of being. His sacking was for good reason, very good reason. It's quite serious, quite criminal, in fact. But that's a matter of opinion what happens there. But I can't comment any further. He was sacked. He won't tell you he was sacked, but he was sacked, right? He shouldn't be involved in ICC or anything. Messy state of affairs, very messy. The reality is that Australian cricket's gone through a bit of a turmoil with Nick Hockley there. He is a great guy. He seems very, very clever, very with it. Got a lot of time for him. Hopefully things will get better. Yes, some modern sports management is difficult. It's the arrogance that's in the players, and you can blame the cricket board under Sutherland and this Whittaker drop kick and a bunch of other people that they've allowed. They were arrogant as hell. Hubris thought I thought the proverbial didn't stink, and they made a mess of things. The reality is now Nick Hockley is amazing, and I think he's level-headed. He's English to start with. He's come in from outside in. He did a great job for 12. They gave him a 12-month trial, which I thought was a bit insulting. The guy was brilliant to do the job immediately, but they gave him a 12-month trial, and they gave it to him after the 12 months. Now he's in the box seat there, and seems to be a very good operator indeed. I'm pretty impressed with him, actually. I think that he'll do pretty well, and I think they've got pretty reasonable people there now that have come on board since the few that were there, and I think there's a good scene for the future. Let's hope. But that did damage cricket somewhat. The cricketers and the whole sandpaper gate was a mess. What followed with some of the IPL efforts, they're getting paid shit money in some cases. They really need to come back down to earth and bring on Jason Sanger as captain of Australia. I say, these form permits, will get him in there once that's the case. He is a very polished young man who is also a very good player. But he's a bit off at the moment. He's not a bit off being there. It's with Aaron Finch now being injured, and Alice Carey seems pretty good. I mean, Tim Payne's done an admirable job, considering all. Let's be honest. Yes, certainly has been a bit of a difficult situation for a number of players that have come through. They're very mixed and misunderstood team selections. I don't know what's gone on there. I mean, Justin Langer is a pretty good coach. He was very much hands-on, very passionate. Thought he had all the right traits, but maybe he needs to move on as well. We'll wait and see how they go in the Ashes later this year. That'll be the testing sign. And then the World Cup coming up, they're not going to make the semi-final group. We spoke earlier with Debasis. England and West Indies will be on one side, with India and potentially either New Zealand or Pakistan on the other. And between those four sides will dictate who wins the World Cup, the T20 World Cup. Then followed by various test series, including the Ashes. Yes, there's a bit of a mess going on there. I don't think we got. Not a good situation. All right. I don't think they're going to come, guys, so we might have to just call it quits there. We've had a great session with Debasis Sen. Debasis is on Xtratime, the platform Xtratime, which is under Grey Mind Communications, and he's also got his own channel, Crazy With I think it's WID Cricket. Crazy With Cricket's got some 8,000 or 9,000 subscribers, done pretty well. But on this channel, with your great help, we've been able to get a fair bit done over the period of time. Vikram Gupta was magnificent. Untitled Chapter was magnificent. Galton Bhattacharya was magnificent. Siddharth, Naresh, there was a whole lot of people there. Boria back a bit earlier on, he was about my first live. And now Debasis is yet again, and he's been fantastic. Certainly been worth having on, talking about his experiences. It's been just monumental, actually. Very, very much a monumental situation to watch and listen to people like that talk. You can't get much better than that. Guys, it's been pretty fantastic. So, what have we got here? The Bangladeshi team are, there's a fair bit going on with the Bangladesh tour of, Australian tour of Bangladesh, you might have seen. Hello, Alan.
Hello, buddy.
We've got
Just 2 seconds. I want to show you something, if I can.
No worries. Do that.
No.
Yeah.
First of all.
Very good. Very good. I'll put my hat on too. So you'll put yours on.
Secondly, I've been watching a film.
My hair's a bit of a mess, but there we go.
I need to turn off to get concentrated. And we spoke today earlier about heroes.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep. Alex Fergus.
Just a few. I'll
show you who are your heroes? Tell us who your heroes are.
Yeah. I need to turn that one off. Now go here. So where's this green thing? Just bear with. Well, keeping you awake, are we?
Yeah, I've had a long day. A good day.
Is that the one? That's the one.
A long day, but a good day.
I'm going to hang up on here, I think.
Hang up. What do you want to hang up for? We've got I'm just copying the link, guys. Hang on. Bear with me. Alan will be back in a minute. Yeah, so I'm on with Alan Mullally. He's here in a second. We're going to talk about. We've talked to Debasis Sen. I'm not sure. I'm on air, Alan. What are you doing? What are you doing? What's wrong? Why? Do you want me to send a link somewhere else? Okay. Having to do some copying and pasting here. Hang on a second, guys. Let's have a look. So, I'm just having to sort this out. He's back on again.
Okay.
All right.
From the
Is that better?
iPad.
Is that better?
Yeah. Now, we spoke earlier. I've got the hang of this now.
Yeah.
where we spoke about heroes.
Exactly. Now, let's just explain to the viewers what
Let's
we're
talk
talking
about a few of them.
Let me just quickly. So, Al and I were talking about the heroes he had as he was growing up. And it may not just have been cricket, but it may have been all sports. And people who he looked up to that basically inspired him in his ways. And heroes of different type and different. They can be someone who's not even that famous. Would you agree? It doesn't always have to be someone.
Okay, first of all, Norman, I'd like to publicise this.
A sort of homecoming.
It's my biography.
Is that your biography?
You never knew that, did you?
Show me the front cover again. No, that wrong side. Other side. Other side. Pull it down a bit. Yeah. Okay, perfect. Good. Got it.
And the
So
back
sort
page,
of-
by the way.
Who wrote that? You yourself?
I'm not overly happy, but it gives a bit of an insight. Now look at the back photo.
With Mick Jagger, yeah.
And I was famous for what? Not
Getting
bad.
ducks.
So take a photo of that as well, Norman, please.
Hang on. Done.
Okay, now my favourite books.
But hang on, are you talking about heroes now or books?
Heroes. Number one.
Viv Richards for sure.
I've had these since I was 13.
You were never able to play against Viv Richards, were you? You were never.
Yes, I did. There's a story.
Right.
Now hang on.
That's amazing. Look at the man. He's such a credible person.
Got that?
Amazing.
Now that book, we talk about stories and heroes and how you get them, right? When we immigrated to Australia, I was 5. And then there was World Series. And my mum, we come from a working class family, right? I'll try and get it short. And mum goes, I've got some tickets to Gloucester Park. Remember that one in Perth? And the West Indies are playing. So mum and dad being working class, 40 guys in India, yes, same world, different country. And I was so excited. My brother had the West Indies flag, there's Viv, the whole lot. Viv got run out for a duck without facing a ball. Those were the days when you can jump over the fence. Norman, you know this, right? And I jumped back over the fence, said, Mum, there's your flag. Viv's out for a duck. I'm going home. He was run out for a duck without facing a ball by Larry Gomes. I was heartbroken. I told Viv that. And by the way, that book, that autograph came about by me jumping the fence at the Wacker to then say, Viv, can you please sign this? He was my hero. Now, the most amazing story behind that, Norman, and for everyone who's watching this now, you might get some more on board because this is amazing. I had 2 posters on my bedroom wall. I showed you earlier, Bob Marley and Viv. The most amazing thing is this. I mean, I grew up in Perth, middle of nowhere. My hero is Viv, other side of the world. He was best mates with my other hero, Bob Marley. Now I grew up with 2 posters on my bedroom wall, Bob and Viv.
So your experiences with Bob Marley.
Turn this around. If I can just turn this around, can you sit? Oh, you can't sit that way. You can maybe sit that way. Can you see that?
Right, that's your
He is my ultimate hero, Bob Marley.
that's amazing.
The most amazing thing, though, Norman, is this. I always I played against Viv, yes. I played against Viv when I was 18. I went to the gym with Viv and I was so shy. I was 18, 19 for WA. Now I play against him when he played for Glamorgan. He goes,
So hang on. So, you played Viv Richards in Perth?
When he played for the West Indies, I was playing for WA. I was 18, 19. Before that, I was a net bowler when I was 15, 16. And Malcolm Marshall, the late, great, greatest fast bowler of all time, said, Al, man, I'm going to call you lefty. Because you lefty and you bowl quick, man. There's lots of stories, Norman, which I won't get into. We don't want to get too far ahead of ourselves. But the main thing is this. A guy called John Agnew, who works for the BBC. You know John Agnew?
Yes, yes.
In 1990, I played against Vivian Glamorgan. And he wrote an article in the paper. Now, I won't tell a story because we'll save it for later. All I'll say is, he wrote an article about me and Viv. And that's how me and Viv became mates. And Viv became a patron on my testimonial year for Hampshire many years later.
Really?
There's a lot of stories to be told there, but I won't give them all away here. So many stories, Norman. Unless you want me to.
You can talk about whatever you like, because we can talk about it many times in many formats and many platforms. So that's not a problem.
I could give you an afternoon speech right now.
So, okay, your heroes are Viv
I just pulled a few books out. Look, we're going to talk about books and heroes, right?
Okay.
Of course, Viv, Richie Richardson, Wazam Akram, Shane Warne. This guy here.
Oh, Maxwell, what a great guy.
I never met him. I wish I did. I met this guy. No, just pulling books out I've got. I met him.
Where have you met? What's your story of Alex Ferguson? He was obviously one of the best coaches of all time.
In Dubai, on the way from Sri Lanka to Cape Town.
And tell us more about that. I already got it.
That's a story for another day. Now, he's a great man. Great, probably the greatest of all.
Oh, Richie Benno. He's one of the most amazing.
Now, one of my favourite records. I'm getting back into playing the guitar, by the way.
Who?
I'm getting back into playing the guitar.
Right. What's giving you that inspiration?
All the books to play U2, because I could just play them, but a bit rusty. But I like this book as well.
What does it say? Red Hot Chili Peppers. Oh, okay.
California. Now, there's another guy I met called Eddie Vedder from Pearl Jam. You heard of him?
Pearl Jam. Yeah. But they're music groups.
Hugh Grant, Harry Potter, Daniel Radcliffe. Yep. Prince Harry, Prince William, Prince Philip, the Queen. How many more names do you want me to drop? We're doing the fame night tonight, are we? The most famous man of all, and I have read this. I find it quite confusing, Norman. Might be a bit controversial. Because I don't go to church, apart from funerals and weddings. I've read this.
Holy Bible.
Which was dated. There. We'll take a photo.
Of what? I can't read it. Who presented it to you?
My sister.
All right. Okay. Done.
It's that one there.
Okay.
I'm just trying to think, what more books should I bring out that I've got? I've got loads. Okay, so what questions do you want to ask?
Well, we go back to what we were talking about earlier, heroes. And that was the question that I was asking about. Heroes that you've had. You've said Viv Richards to start with. Bob Marley was like a hero to you. Alex Ferguson's been inspirational.
I've thought about it a lot, right? My heroes, my mum and dad. Number one. And then, what would be amazing if there's anybody, the guys who are watching now, if you were to ask them, who do you think would be Alan Mullally's hero apart from his mum and dad? There's always mum and dad, because you only get one mum, one dad, right? If you were to ask the guys the question, who do they reckon would be my number one hero apart from mum and dad?
Someone in your early sporting life that shaped you? Perhaps?
Nope.
Your brother or sister, or
Nope.
yourself?
No.
I'm not sure. You're not giving me any hints.
Okay. Okay. Fair
Are you
enough.
with the Holy Bible you showed me before? Is that what you're talking about?
No. Yay! From the age of 12.
Okay, right. Who's that? Of course, that's Buffalo. Okay.
And what we don't need is this. I'm going to just play this for you, Norman, and have the guys will jump aboard. My favourite song ever. Just listen. Close your eyes and listen. It's a G, A, C, D chord.
Can't hear it. Hi. Great song.
So who's my hero?
Bob Marley. Bob Marley is what we're talking about.
I could play that all
But
night.
okay,
Just
Alex
TV.
Ferguson. Tell me about Alex Ferguson. What's your thoughts on him, and what did he do that inspired you?
I think he's an unbelievable manager, a great manager. Think about it, right? You get all these guys come in from different countries, different accents. Now, I know one thing, because Matt Letizia is a good friend of mine, played football for the Saints, Southampton, played for England, and Steve Gerrard, I met loads of them. They're quite grounded. Steven Gerrard's a lovely man. His dad loves cricket. I sent him loads of memorabilia. Footballers have an ego through the roof that you cannot believe. Through the roof.
Yeah.
Ferguson managed to get them for how many years? Decades. Go, you know what? I'm the governor. I run the show.
Who's this?
I run the show.
Sorry, who are you?
Yes, sir. I'm Satvik Bagadia from India.
How did you get my link? How did you
It
get
was
the
in the YouTube. It was in the YouTube.
On the YouTube?
Yes.
No, I didn't put it on YouTube.
It was
Hey,
there.
Satvik,
So
are you well? Are you well?
Sorry? I don't know who that person was at all. I've got no idea who that was. He
I
reckons it
met
was on the
Alex
YouTube.
Ferguson, right, for the first time in Dubai airport, right? And he was running late for a flight, right? And he was given about $500,000 worth of gold cutlery and all that crap from some sultan in Dubai. And I was on a
Right.
flight to Cape Town with Nick Knight. So that's how I know Ferguson. And the first thing he said was, "Hey Al, how you doing?" I didn't even know who he was. So there you go, Norman.
Right. I'm having to work out how I made a bit of a mistake there. I have to edit that pretty quickly. I'm going to have to edit that. I've just, I just had that was a mistake. Thankfully, that man has just saved me some problems because I've just added the link to this on the YouTube. So, can you hear me?
Yeah.
So I put that link on the YouTube. Doesn't matter.
And you and I are meant to be going to India to do loads of coaching. Holy
No, that
moly.
was it was a momentary mistake. It's easily changed. It's all right.
Hey, you know, it's getting into August, Norman. You know I love you,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
So August, September, October, November, December's pretty. You done like Santa Claus over there?
Santa Claus.
As in, I had a shave today. You any chance?
I am waiting for this because we got locked down. I'm waiting for the true shave to come out.
Norman and I offline laugh and joke like you cannot believe.
I think it's becoming a bit becoming of me, actually.
Well, I was going to grow a beard, but I'm like, Mum, going to grow a beard. Now, for those who don't know, I look after my mum. She's 83.
Oh boy.
Now, here's one for you, which is going to change total tact. Norman, get your mobile and Google Granny Thrower tomatoes.
What am I Googling?
Granny, as in grandmother, granny.
Yeah.
Thrower, as in left arm over, but you chuck it, thrower. Tomatoes. Google that. And then show me a photo. I've got them growing from seed now into the pot plants at the back.
Right. So okay. So this is what you're doing. Granny
Thrower. Yeah, thrower. Tomatoes. Trust me.
Granny thrower tomatoes. Okay. Did you mean Granny throwing tomatoes? These huge tomatoes. Yep, I can see that.
Okay, take a photo and put it online because.
Put it on what?
Yeah, they'll go, what on earth is that?
Yeah, look, there it is. You can take a photo.
Well, I don't need to. I should send you that in the messenger. We've got them on the go.
That's what you got them growing. Okay.
Even the garden centre has not got them on the go.
Right.
Yeah, just
But you got them. Okay. That was funny. How did that guy join? Oh my God. I should have kept him on. It would have been, maybe he was interesting. We don't know, do we?
Well, you should have kept him on. He came in from nowhere. And it could have been, you don't know, do you?
Well, what he did was I put the link on my community page by accident. And he saw it and joined, which, you know, with all fairness, he basically had every right to do it because I put it publicly. So,
well, I might do is grab a few more books. Norm, what do you reckon?
What?
I'll get a few more books.
So you're not going to ask me, you want to get some more books? Go and get some more books.
And then you can just ask me, all the guys can ask me any question they want.
All right. That was funny. That was very funny how that happened. Okay. With the one person that's watching, Alan's going to be back shortly, so he's just gone off to get some more books. It is a pity about the level of cricket that's existed with Australia at the moment. The next match is at 4:30 a.m., which is another 3.75 hours away. They're playing West Indies and having been beaten quite severely. So,
just bear with me. And also 2 cricket balls. Norman?
yep.
English, Australian. Just bear with me. Now, I might bring out the ultimate encyclopedias. You up for it?
That's enough. Just grab a seat.
Hang on.
I'm waiting on Alan.
Oh, that's the Joker, Mum.
All right. What have you got? That's Pele, the soccer player, yes. Now, he was a great player.
Colour the best ever. Yep. I've read them, by the way. Do you want to look through them?
Very
Or
good.
should we say that for another day?
Yeah, I don't. Yeah. All right.
I know that surprised you. They're not signed, but I've got the same one called the Bradman albums, and they're signed. Shall I show you? But first of all, I've got this one. That might surprise a few people.
Line and length. Line and strength.
Line and strength. Here's one for you. I've read this one.
Clive Lloyd. Great. Living for cricket.
Am I boring you guys now?
First test, England versus India. When's that?
Oh, it's years ago, man. I was in this. Oh, where am I? I'm in this somewhere. Umpires. David Shepherd, remember him?
Of course.
He and his brother owned a post office in Cornwall. And Darrell Hare, remember him?
Of course.
He kept calling Murali for chucking it. Remember him?
Can't see it. Is that you? That's the opener.
Have you got glasses?
Mike Atherton. It's a bit.
I know it's Australia or Australian. It's called Michael Atherton. He was our captain. By the way.
I saw his face.
Goodness, look at that lot.
Right, a whole squad.
Ronnie, he was.
We need to do some more talking rather than showing photographs because we're viewers are basically not here.
Okay, hang on. Now the most important two.
Chabalili Marsh, yep.
Now the most important one. Now you got to bear in mind. I'm going to tell you a quick story. My surname's Mullally, right? Norman?
Yeah.
From Ireland. Dublin, Malahide, which is North Dublin, right? And now there's an auntie called Auntie Maggie. God bless her. Okay? Here's my Bible. She's in heaven now. Guess who used to practice in her garage?
No idea.
You serious?
So to say that again, who used to
Hang on, just bear with me.
Yeah.
This is important to me, by the way, Norman.
Okay, the whole thing's been on for 2 hours and 20 minutes. So, Alan, we need to do something, otherwise people will go. They've had their time. Okay.
Okay. Okay, I was Bono's doppelganger.
I was Bono's doppelganger. Okay,
And
who was
India,
that?
they might not know much about U2, I know that. But try the rock band U2, try and Google it. They used to practice in my auntie's garage. Now let's talk cricket and fast bowling. You ready?
Okay. All right. Look, I think we're going to have to make it short. The audience is just not here tonight. It's just not a good night because there's no cricket being played anywhere on any platform, so they've got no reason to go to YouTube.
Okay, well, record this. If you want to learn how to bowl. Do you want to record it?
Yeah.
You want to record?
Sorry?
Are you on record?
It's live, yeah.
Okay, well, that's the English ball. We tried this the other night, but I got it wrong because the cameras couldn't quite figure it out. That is called the English Duke. I took 9 for 94 with that against Derbyshire. That's the rough side.
It's a short
side. It's been around the world. Now, Norman, do you want to ask me get the guys to ask me some questions?
Yeah. Okay. There's not a lot of people ask. Anyone like to ask a question about your positioning of your hand? Is that what you're saying?
Yeah.
That's now the shiny side facing away from you, which is away from your left hand.
That's
where the ball will swing away.
That's the in-swinger. I'm getting my wrist wrong on this. To Brian Lara. But what amazed me, Norman, and might amaze a few guys, might get their interest, is Wazin put his finger there. Well, I put mine there.
He was the master for that, wasn't
he? He taught me a lot.
Yeah. He's a great bowler, great tactician, great understanding of the game.
So, okay, here we go.
Can't see the second ball.
Australian ball.
Yeah.
Yeah, Norman, we need to get some crew doing things on here. That's the in-swinger. Out-swinger. Same thing here. Rough side, in-swinger. But it's all about locking your wrist. Out-swinger. Now, Norman, here's the deal. That's the first master class. The second one is he shine the ball. So for all of our Indian fellows and those around the world in the States, next one's on the way. When you jump online. All right,
let's get that to another day, Alan. Let's finish. Yep. I'm afraid we've got so few viewers, it's probably not worth us continuing at the moment. Let's stop now and rejoin at a better time. I put this on far too late. There's no one's watching. They're watching the Olympics. There's no cricket on. India's not playing. They've gone right away from the YouTube.
That's right.
Yeah. All right, Al. Thanks, mate. I really appreciate you coming.
By the way, I'll jump on in a moment. I'll give you a call in a minute. Give me a call on WhatsApp.
Okay. Well, everyone, if you like and share the posts, make sure you subscribe and become members, and the likes of Al and I will be able to talk to you. All the best, guys. Talk to you soon.